these photos actually show Noah's Ark, then they could prove that everything that's written in the Bible about this whole event is actually true, right? This is a historical event that actually happened.
First on Fox, a biblical story is getting new life.
Venturing into the snowy peaks of eastern Turkey, a courageous team set out on a mission to unveil Noah's Ark from the Great Flood. Equipped with state-of-the-art technology and relentless determination, they triumphed. Discovering the extraordinary man-made structure, its origins dating back 4,800 years, raises the question, will the scientific community embrace this evidence? Can an ancient wooden relic authenticate biblical narratives? Join us as we delve into the revelation of Noah's Ark.
Archaeologists say writings on an ancient tablet confirmed there was a global flood and an ark that carried animals.
The quest for Noah's Ark endures atop Mount Ararat. In the chilly expanse of eastern Turkey, a team of intrepid explorers readied themselves for a daunting ascent. These devoted seekers had combed the icy ridges of Mount Ararat tirelessly, driven by a sincere desire to unearth traces of the fabled vessel from ancient scriptures. Leading the charge was Dr. Fatih Ahmed Yüksel, an archaeologist whose lifelong obsession with Noah's Ark spurred him since childhood. Yüksel rallied a diverse crew comprising researchers, archaeology students, seasoned climbers, photographers, and technical wizards. Armed with cutting-edge cameras, mapping gear, and ground-penetrating radar arrays, they set out. "Every inch counts," Yüksel declared optimistically, convinced that the elusive Ark lay awaiting discovery amidst the harsh, unforgiving peaks. Days of arduous trekking through snow-laden slopes, enduring biting winds, and enduring frigid nights ensued as they scoured the landscape for signs. Finally, their journey led them to the Durupinar site within the Tendurek mountain range, where local lore whispered of the Ark's resting place. Amidst their scrutiny of the rugged terrain, researcher Andrew Jones spotted a protrusion from the snow. He drew Yüksel's attention and pointed out the symmetrical form with distinct straight lines, igniting a spark of hope in their hearts. Filled with anticipation, they hurried towards the site. Emerging from the deep snow drifts were large, darkened timbers meticulously arranged in straight lines and right angles, too precise to be natural. Could this be what they had dared to hope for? Yüksel and Jones swiftly deployed their ground-penetrating radar scanners while the team looked on anxiously. As the radar maps materialized, they unveiled a massive structure concealed beneath the snow and volcanic remnants. Yüksel gazed at the array of frozen timbers on his scanner, his thoughts racing. Jones exclaimed that it matched the dimensions outlined in the Book of Genesis, complete with distinct internal compartments. The construction, a blend of processed lumber and metal, elicited jubilant cheers from the team, who exchanged high fives and captured the moment with wild photographs. After years of unwavering dedication, had they stumbled upon the remnants of Noah's famed Ark? Yüksel and Jones wasted no time spreading the news, reaching out to local Turkish museums and British media outlets to unveil their remarkable find. If you were surprised by Yüksel carefully looking at the frozen timbers on his scanner and thinking deeply, get ready for the heated debate about whether Noah's Ark is real. Addressing reporters with palpable excitement, Yüksel asserted that the formation defied natural explanation, resembling a massive, compartmentalized ancient marine vessel, possibly Noah's Ark itself. Meanwhile, the crew carefully extracted fragments of timber and metal from the snow for laboratory analysis. Radiocarbon dating yielded astonishing results. The relics dated back approximately 4,800 years. This placed the colossal Ark remnants they had uncovered on Mount Ararat within the time frame commonly associated with the Great Flood, aligning with the biblical chronology between 5,000 and 3,000 BC. Yüksel enthused his elated team that this discovery harmonized seamlessly with Scripture, representing the first tangible evidence of Noah's Ark and the flood, as depicted in ancient texts. The electrifying news rapidly spread worldwide, dominating headlines and sparking heated debate. While numerous Christian organizations hailed the discovery as compelling evidence of biblical authenticity, skeptical scientists voiced skepticism. In a fiery televised debate, renowned evolutionary biologist Dr. William Denvers contended that merely locating aged wood on a mountain lacked conclusive proof. Despite promising findings, the world awaited more substantiated evidence from Yücsel's team to support such a remarkable assertion. Nonetheless, Dr. Yücsel and researcher Jones were pleased at the prospect of unraveling a portion of the age-old mystery surrounding Noah's Ark. Further examination of the unexpected organic artifacts retrieved from Mount Ararat's icy depths might reinforce the notion that these remnants indeed stem from the legendary biblical vessel. The intrepid explorers maintained strict confidentiality regarding the precise location of their significant discovery. Yet, they persisted in conducting advanced analyses, poised to astonish the world with additional revelations that could potentially reshape accepted biblical history forever. Keep watching. Hot debate over legitimacy of the Noah's Ark. Upon publicly announcing their purported discovery of Noah's Ark remains on Mount Ararat, Dr. Yücsel and Andrew Jones catapulted to the top of global news headlines. While the religious community hailed it as tangible proof of events recounted in the Old Testament, skepticism pervaded the scientific realm. A heated debate ensued among Bible scholars, archaeologists, geologists, historians, and evolutionary scientists, questioning the findings' legitimacy and implications for established history if confirmed. Dr. Raymond Johns from Yale Divinity School expressed astonishment among other excited biblical experts. This could be archaeological confirmation of pivotal scripture narratives like the flood and Noah, he fervently declared on a CNN special panel. If the wood relics align with Genesis's timeline, it profoundly validates the Bible's historical accuracy. Many Christian congregations incorporated the prospect of the Ark's discovery into their sermons and teachings. Pastor Frank from a small Oklahoma town asserted, "Seeing and touching pieces of God's covenant with Noah reaffirms our unyielding faith in Scripture." Groups such as God Evidence Archaeology mobilized funds to dispatch additional Christian exploration teams to scour Mount Ararat in light of this groundbreaking revelation. Conversely, skeptical geologists pointed to established evidence in the Earth's geological record, questioning the claim's validity. Professor Martin Stokes, head of UC Berkeley's archaeology department, flatly stated on MSNBC that the planet's landscape simply does not show evidence of a worldwide cataclysmic flood a few thousand years ago, even if they've found an old boat structure that doesn't topple the accepted chronology of human civilization built from centuries of research. Sure, scientists leveled accusations against the explorers, alleging that they concocted or orchestrated the discovery for publicity and financial gain, rather than relying on meticulous scientific analysis. This skepticism found resonance among Islamic clerics in Turkey, who maintained that Noah's Ark had crashed elsewhere. An exasperated Turkish imam informed reporters, "It is religious folly to persist in searching Mount Ararat and overlook the sacred site where Noah's Ark purportedly landed, as indicated by the Prophet." He asserted that these purported findings failed to sway their faithful, who knew the actual shrine location. Leading evolutionary scientists also contributed their perspectives. Renowned paleoanthropologist Dr. Melanie Chang tweeted that a single abnormal wooden structure on a mountain supported evolutionary science and the millennia-long accumulation of fossil and DNA evidence regarding human migration. The passionate debates went viral across major social media platforms. Both sides volleyed evidence and counter-arguments, often sidestepping meaningful dialogue. How can they accurately date wood that ancient, even with the latest technology? Questioned geology professors. In response, defenders of biblical accounts accused scientists of fearing that this discovery would debunk the theory of evolution. Scientists advocated for independent peer review of the methodology, while believers insisted that the truth their faith upheld for centuries should not be suppressed. After extensive arguments, Dr. Yücsel consented to guide several respected neutral assessors to the covert site to examine the Ark remnants firsthand and offer their evaluations. The world awaited with bated breath for the definitive findings. If you were surprised by the hot debate over legitimacy of the Noah's Ark, get ready for the unveiling of the debate over the secret location of the Ark's resting place. Dr. Alice Unn. Did he demonstrate one's audacity to the extreme, excavating a ship as deep hidden as Noah's Ark, famed for its impenetrable walls? Was it an elaborate ruse that would be exposed if I let my guard down? Or was it an intricate deception hovering on revelation? The drama unraveled as metaphorical historian Dr. Alice Ung stood in the storm's center, torn between his convictions. She left her innermost feelings at work while waiting for God to give the verdict that the Bible was accurate. Her profession's Bible determined that ancient writings must be verified for authenticity. Last but not least, God's favorite servant admitted a prayer at heart, with only the hope of fulfilling her wish to see the divine miracles secretly. Similarly, the people on both sides of the issue were uncertain and trying to decide whether to believe in the controversial discovery. The passionate debate was not the only thing that raged on during this time. The remaining Ark's remnants, too, underwent rigorous analysis at the top-secret laboratories, resulting in the world holding its breath each time a new detail was expected to emerge. Several, however, said that the opposition would refuse any evidence tactfully. In contrast, others felt this significance should be converted most elaborately and properly before any conclusions are posed. Yet, most observed unprecedented news unfolding with genuine curiosity rather than entrenched biases. Could these enigmatic organic artifacts revolutionize religious doctrine, scientific paradigms, and the established narrative of human origins? Or would the contentious discovery fade into disillusioned obscurity, akin to numerous failed expeditions before it? The heated debate persisted until the moment of final confirmation arrived. When radiocarbon dating unveiled that the immense wooden structure on Mount Ararat indeed dated precisely to the timeline of Noah's Ark, as depicted in biblical lore, it sent shockwaves rippling and ignited fervent arguments. Bolstered by the apparent historical accuracy, religious groups clashed with skeptical scientists clinging to conventional theories. If you found Yüksel accomplishing the unimaginable surprising, get ready, because we're about to reveal Dr. William Jennings' discovery, adding another layer to the astonishing revelations surrounding Noah's Ark. Let's delve into how conviction took hold. The revelation of the colossal wooden structure, strikingly reminiscent of Noah's Ark's biblical depictions by Dr. Yüksel and Andrew Jones, captivated the entire world. If authenticated, this discovery could redefine history and religious canon. However, both religious and scientific communities demanded stringent verification to substantiate the remnants' authenticity beyond doubt. The first crucial step in validation occurred when Yüksel transported meticulously extracted fragments of ancient wooden beams and other organic materials to certified radiocarbon dating laboratories under strict confidentiality protocols. This analysis aimed to determine the age of the components by assessing residual carbon-14 isotope levels, yielding results of unprecedented precision. After weeks of tense anticipation, the laboratory findings reverberated globally. Based on the carbon decay signatures within the organic samples, the wood and other materials were conclusively dated to approximately 4,800 years old. According to these analytics, the weathered timbers originated from around 2,800 BC, with a margin of error accounting for several generations. During an electrifying televised interview, Yüksel solemnly unveiled these results, emphasizing that the dated timbers predated even the most ancient known structures, and the flood timeline delineated in scripture ranged between 5,000 and 3,000 BC. Such convergence was too compelling to dismiss. In essence, the carbon-dated wreckage discovered high on Mount Ararat, plausibly aligned with the traditional date ranges associated with the cataclysmic Great Flood, potentially constructed and sealed by Noah himself. Biblical scholars were left astounded by the implications. Dr. William Jennings, a distinguished Old Testament scholar, affirmed that if the laboratory's carbon measurements proved accurate, these organic remnants unequivocally situated the structure's origins within the narrow window described in Genesis during a global calamity. Dr. William Jennings. The coincidence is truly remarkable. Following Dr. Jennings's lead, theologians revisited Genesis passages detailing Noah's vessel dimensions and materials as the lab findings gained traction within religious circles. Could this scientifically validated discovery signify that all the biblical history entwined with the Ark, including the Great Flood itself, were factual accounts rather than allegories. If you were surprised by the heated debate until the final confirmation, get ready because we're about to reveal that all the stories tied to the Ark in the Bible, like the Great Flood, were real events, not just stories. Throughout churches worldwide, pastors fervently emphasize to their congregations that science and carbon dating now provide historical validation for their scriptural teachings. However, several skeptical scientists raised objections against the dating methodology and its conclusions. The principal geologist, who initially dismissed the Mount Ararat structure findings, contended that he required further evidence to ascertain the sample's purity from contamination. He argued that establishing precise carbon decay curves spanning millennia remains more art than science, demanding a comprehensive review of the entire analysis process for procedural oversights. While some reluctantly acknowledged the accuracy of carbon dating, they remained steadfast in rejecting its implications. A cohort of anthropologists, writing in Times magazine, asserted that the mere discovery of old wood did not definitively confirm this structure as Noah's mythical vessel described in the Bible, nor did it corroborate legendary narratives of a global deluge. These experts clung to established records of gradual societal development during the Stone Age. One particularly outspoken university biologist even faced repercussions, losing his tenure for vehemently criticizing his colleagues in academic journals. He argued that it was ludicrous for the scientific community to accept these carbon dating results as valid, given that his career was built on models of gradual speciation. Emotions ran high around these astonishing revelations, with livelihoods and reputations hanging in the balance. Amidst the fiery debates raging in academia and the media over the radiocarbon findings, Yücsel's team endeavored to maintain impartiality. When accused of religious bias, the lead archaeologist clarified that they made no assertions regarding the significance of their discovery, emphasizing only the necessity for further investigation using rigorous methodologies. However, Jones privately conceded to chaplains that the alignment of the laboratory dates with flood chronology caught them off guard. What mattered most was that calibrated carbon dating had achieved the seemingly impossible task of pinpointing the age of the astounding Mount Ararat structure to the precise era of Noah's Ark, as described in the Bible. Whether the results were embraced wholeheartedly or reluctantly, the radiocarbon analyses garnered global attention from faith communities and academia, marking the beginning of a quest for definitive answers. When Dr. Yücsel disclosed the discovery of Noah's Ark remnants on Mount Ararat, but withheld their coordinates, it sparked a heated clash between fervent biblical proponents proclaiming confirmation of Scripture and skeptical academics branding it inconclusive. Meanwhile, the world anxiously awaited the revelation of the secret location. Following Dr. Yücsel and Andrew Jones's revelation of the astonishing discovery of Noah's Ark remains on Mount Ararat, the world clamored for more information. However, the explorers guarded the precise coordinates of where they had detected the massive artifact emerging from glacial debris, fearing that an influx of unqualified visitors could jeopardize the site's integrity. Nevertheless, speculation surged regarding whether they had identified the legendary vessel's landing spot as described in Genesis, thereby validating the flood narrative. According to the Book of Genesis, following 40 days and nights of constant rainfall, the floodwaters gradually receded, revealing dry mountain peaks, where Noah's Ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. While the exact location remained mysterious for centuries, tradition gradually settled on Mount Ararat in Turkey, the earliest peak within the ancient Urartu kingdom borders, as the likely resting place. When Yücsel disclosed the detection of an immense ark-like structure on Mount Ararat, millions drew connections. This seemingly corroborated nearly 2 millennia of the belief that the biblical mountain served as the final resting place for Noah's vessel. Leading Old Testament scholar Father Etheridge conveyed on his popular podcast that the actual discovery of Noah's ship nestled on remote Mount Ararat, just as long believed, firmly grounds Christian doctrine in tangible historical reality. If you were surprised by Dr. Yücsel and Andrew Jones's revelation, brace yourself, because we're about to delve into the biblical and Quranic accounts of Noah's Ark. Throughout Sunday sermons across the globe, pastors reiterated to their nodding congregations that this remarkable revelation should fortify their faith. Experts pinpointed Noah's lost ark exactly where their teachings had always placed it. Even the Conservative Theological Society, which had previously revoked Yücel's membership for exploring evolutionary theories, made a complete turnaround, commending him and asserting that they had collectively brought honor before God. However, dissenting voices in biblical archaeology and geography were swift to temper expectations, noting that Genesis never explicitly identifies Mount Ararat. Instead, the book refers to the ark landing on the mountains of Ararat, encompassing the vast ancient Urartu kingdom sprinkled with numerous peaks. These experts lectured, emphasizing that discovering old wood on a single mountain in eastern Turkey does not automatically equate to locating Noah's biblical site. The biblical and Quranic accounts of Noah's Ark. The tale of Noah's Ark is one of the most captivating narratives, resonating across several significant religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. A powerful narrative of a biblical flood that brought the earth to the edge and unleashed Noah's mission to carry out an epic feat of building a giant vessel for preservation has been playing with the minds and provoking questions for a long time. The first narrative about Noah's fabled sea journey is recorded in the book of Genesis of the Hebrew Bible. According to the biblical story, God was deeply worried by the widespread immorality and corruption that had contaminated humanity then. Humanity discarded God, trampling the moral principles set by the Creator, which provoked violence and injustice. This was the moment in human history when, amidst the chaos, God made a decision that still resonates with emotional weight today. Cleansing and rebooting humans as a whole civilization was an urgent necessity. In the morally flawed population of that time, one man, Noah, was regarded as a person of righteousness and integrity in the eyes of God. After the Great Flood, when the Creator disclosed his plan for a worldwide cataclysmic flood to purify the world and give a second chance to humanity, he charged Noah with the impossible task of building a vast boat that could accommodate Noah's family and pairs of all the living creatures. Noah carried out God's exact details as he carefully built the great wooden ark from 3 stories that were 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. At present, the ark is usually measured to have been about 437 feet long, 73 feet wide, and 44 feet high. The ark. Even by contemporary shipbuilding standards, Noah faced the daunting task of constructing an astonishingly massive seaworthy vessel using materials and technology available centuries before the zenith of ancient Egypt. As delineated in Genesis, God imparted highly intricate instructions to Noah on fabricating what essentially amounted to the world's inaugural floating menagerie. The 3-tiered ark was meticulously designed to feature tier upon tier of compartments: animals on the lower level, humans in the middle, and birds aloft. It was to be meticulously sealed inside and out with pitch, ensuring complete waterproofing. An 18-inch opening encircled the perimeter of the top deck, while a substantial door was integrated into the side. Despite doubting the endeavor, Noah remained steadfast, unwavering in his faith that a solution would have been provided if God had commanded such a formidable task in anticipation of an impending catastrophic flood. Rallying his 3 sons, their wives, and his spouse, Noah issued directives to procure materials and commence construction. Scripture records that the monumental undertaking spanned approximately 100 years. As Noah and his kin sawed, hammered, and hoisted throughout this period, they endured ridicule and scorn from their neighbors, who scoffed at their dedication to what they deemed an absurd undertaking. How could there possibly be sufficient water to inundate the entire globe? Yet undeterred, Noah persevered until God signaled that it was time to commence loading creatures of every kind through the ark's side entrance. 7 days after Noah, his kinfolk, and the myriad animals found refuge within, the floodgates were unsealed, ushering forth the deluge. Torrents of rain cascaded from the heavens, accompanied by the rupture of colossal subterranean reservoirs, propelling pillar-like jets of water soaring miles into the atmosphere. The deluge persisted relentlessly for 40 harrowing days and nights, until even the loftiest peaks were submerged under nearly 30 feet of water. All terrestrial life had been extinguished, leaving the entire Earth shrouded beneath a vast, briny sea, with the newly completed Ark serving as the sole refuge, preserving a remnant population of humanity and the animal kingdom. Within the confines of the Ark, Noah, his family, and all creatures endured the tempestuous onslaught for 5 arduous months until, finally, the violent tumult abated and the waters began to recede. Coming to rest atop one of the peaks of the Ararat mountain range, between modern-day Turkey and Armenia, the bewildered occupants emerged from the Ark as the progenitors of a new era for humanity. If you found the biblical accounts of Noah's Ark surprising, brace yourself because we're about to reveal how the voyage's captain, Noah, assessed conditions, ensured adequate provisions, and made decisions regarding balance and seaworthiness. In Islamic tradition, rooted in passages from the Quran, Noah is revered as the second Adam. He is said to have lived for another 350 years following his disembarkation onto dry land. While the Quranic depiction of Noah closely parallels the Genesis narrative, with some variations, such as the assertion that Noah and his companions remained aboard the Ark for nearly 6 months, his name is rendered as Nu in Arabic. Across the holy texts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, namely the Torah, the Old Testament, and the Quran, Prophet Nu Noah's enduring legacy is enshrined. Millennia may have elapsed, yet the tale of a faithful servant of God undertaking the impossible at the divine command to rescue the purest forms of life on earth continues to captivate hearts, ignite imaginations, and command headlines to this day. Amidst the unfathomable saga of Noah's Ark, scholars grapple with perplexing logistical challenges, from allocating cargo tons to providing adequate space for animals and managing waste during the protracted tempest. Visionary thinkers from various disciplines, theologians, mathematicians, naval engineers, and beyond, have endeavored to unravel the enigmatic practicalities of Noah's divine mandate. While the mysteries surrounding the Great Flood and the fate of the monumental vessel persist, one universal truth endures from Noah's perilous voyage. With unwavering faith, every storm can be weathered. Shipbuilding. Based on the prevailing cubit measurement of the era, God specified the following approximate dimensions for the Ark. Length, 300 cubits, equivalent to approximately 450 feet. Width, 50 cubits, roughly 75 feet. Height, 30 cubits, approximately 45 feet. Furthermore, the Ark was to be structured into 3 decks, partitioned into chambers, and a sohar. The Hebrew term sohar has puzzled scholars for centuries. Some propose it denotes narrow openings just below the roof, akin to historic naval designs aimed at illuminating cargo holds while keeping them dry. Alternatively, more liberal interpretations suggest it might have been a retractable roof or canopy structure fashioned from the ancient marvel material known as gopher wood, which was mentioned for its use in the Ark's construction in Genesis. Analyzing these particulars alongside advanced digital modeling, nautical enthusiast Tim Lovett posits that Noah's Ark could have been meticulously crafted to achieve complete watertightness, challenging the prevalent notion of the Ark as a ponderous cargo barge. Drawing from evidence of Bronze Age shipbuilding techniques, Lovett contends that a sleeker design would have been more pragmatic for traversing turbulent waters. This design likely featured gradually tapering floors and outward inclining walls to bolster structural integrity and deflect waves away from the vessel. In his essay, Could Noah's Ark Float?, Lovett delves deeper into how the Ark's stability in the ocean might have hinged on a ballasted keel, a feature commonly employed in medieval ships. This weighty mass, typically stone or iron, would have offset the cargo and animal load, ensuring equilibrium amidst stormy seas. Determining the care of the proposed inhabitants using Bronze Age methods hinges on interpretation. Literal portrayals of animals confined in cramped rows of boxes raise doubts about the feasibility of extended oceanic voyages needing more modern amenities like ventilation or sanitation. stockpiling a diverse array of foodstuffs for approximately 420 days, encompassing meats, fish, grains, grasses, and fruits, presents a formidable undertaking even before factoring in water needs. In the 1970s, creationist author Henry M. Morris presented theories on addressing these needs in his book, Noah's Ark, a feasibility study. One proposed scenario involved packs of proto-dogs assisting Noah's family in hunting larger prey, while smaller creatures subsisted on grains and foraged fare. On the other hand, Morris proposed an alternative perspective, suggesting that God might have performed another miracle by inducing hibernation in the animals or directly sustaining them supernaturally throughout the year-long voyage. Regarding operational logistics, historians envisage a structured hierarchy under Noah's leadership, reminiscent of the nautical chain of command still in use today. As the voyage's captain, Noah assessed conditions, ensured adequate provisions, and made decisions regarding balance and seaworthiness. His sons and daughters-in-law assumed roles overseeing designated deck crews tasked with feeding the animals, waste removal, and maintenance duties such as fixing leaks and cleaning. Given the Ark's vast dimensions, navigation and course corrections likely occurred slowly and methodically, employing collaborative efforts such as heaving, pushing, or steering oars around the exterior rather than swift maneuvers akin to smaller vessels. Experts draw parallels with movement mechanics similar to those utilized for Egyptian royal funeral barges constructed centuries later for transporting significant monuments. Continues to spark spirited debates among religious scholars, scientists, and historians. While many agree that certain elements, such as the futuristic-sounding construction materials and the Ark's immense carrying capacity, can be interpreted symbolically rather than taken literally, this approach allows for a more explicit focus on the moral significance and implications of the Great Flood narrative, rather than becoming trapped in debates about ancient technicalities. Fundamentally, Noah's journey epitomizes the ultimate trial and triumph of faith and unwavering obedience. As no universally accepted historical evidence has emerged, the decision to embrace the scriptural account of a man who heeded divine orders in a skeptical world remains a matter of personal conviction. For those who share Noah's faith, no additional proof is requisite. The Ark is a timeless emblem of salvation and fresh beginnings amidst life's most turbulent storms, illustrating that those who trust in God can navigate safely through even the most turbulent seas. What are your thoughts on the discoveries we've learned of Noah's Ark? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and subscribe for more exciting videos.